everyone, today we're going to take a look at this 2021 Mercedes AMG GLE 63S. The GLE is Mercedes midsize SUV. It competes with the BMW X5. It was all new for 2020, and now for 2021, Mercedes is rolling out the AMG models. There is a coupe version of this SUV known as the GLE Coupe. I reviewed an AMG GLE 53 Coupe earlier this year. That vehicle uses a turbocharged V6. The 63 here uses a 4-liter twin-turbo V8. This car makes 603 horsepower and 627 pounds-feet of torque. It's got a 9-speed automatic transmission, all-wheel drive, obviously. Retail on this one is $133,000. Mercedes-Benz says this thing goes from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, making it about the fastest vehicle I've ever driven. Beyond that though, it comes with all of the refinement and luxury features that you'd expect with a Mercedes SUV. So let's do a tour of the GLE 63S here and then take it out for a ride. So the GLE 63S, and there is a GLE 63, it's just not sold in the US. We only get the full-blown 63S model. Anyway though, the GLE 63S starts at $113,000. This one has about $20,000 worth of options that bring it up to that $133,000 figure. This one has 21-inch AMG wheels. You can see the red brake calipers in there, and you can see that the rotors are both drilled and slotted. Move up front, here is the V8 bi-turbo badge. You can see 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive. That's Mercedes all-wheel drive system in these AMG models. AMG grille up front here. You can tell you're looking at an AMG trim product because it's got these vertical slats in the grille. Also, it just looks significantly more aggressive than a non-AMG counterpart. This thing sits pretty low to the ground. Boy, those tires are thick. Even the front wheels are pretty thick, but that's some thick rubber. Quad exhaust because, of course, here's your badging. AMG GLE 63S. Georgia plate is because Mercedes-Benz US headquarters is in the Atlanta area. Cargo area is pretty nicely finished. You can get the GLE with a third row, but the GLE 63, given that it's the most performance-oriented model, is only available as a 5-seater. Anyway, back here, this thing has an air suspension. So if you pull this, the thing will lower itself. You can hear the compressor working. Squats down pretty far. So it's only the rear that lowers via this button here, and that's to make the load height lower, to make it easier to get things in and out. So if you're loading heavy items, you can just press that button, and then you don't have to lift them as high. A little netting right here. You can see cargo cover. Puts a nice finishing touch on the cargo area. There is a spare, but it is a space saver spare. And there's a first aid kit under here as well. Here's a look at the window sticker. So you can see this is a 2021 Mercedes AMG GLE 63S. MSRP on this one is $131,880, and that's up from a base price of about $114,000. You've got some options on this one. Options of note include a heads-up display. I don't know if you can really see it. You can see part of it. It's a pretty big heads-up display. It's bright. It's easy to see. Other items of note include, these seats are pretty cool. So there is a feature where the seats will adjust themselves every, say, 10 or 15 miles that you drive. And the idea there is that it keeps you from getting stiff over long drives. So every few miles, maybe the backrest will move up, the bolsters will adjust, the seat bottom will lift or lower or tilt at a different angle. So this one also has the driver assistance package, the warmth and comfort package. So it has heated armrests here and on the door, in addition to heated and ventilated seats. It's also got the acoustic comfort package, which includes increased cabin insulation, windshield with infrared reflecting film, side windows with acoustic and infrared absorbing film as well. So it should make the drive even more serene than it would be in your everyday GLE. Fuel economy is, well, not great. 15 city, 19 highway, 16 combined according to the EPA. Anyway, cabin is super nice, as it is in every modern Mercedes. You've got this single panel here that includes both the touchscreen infotainment system and a fully digital gauge cluster. You also get redundant controls down here, which is really nice. So I can cycle through different things via this touchpad here, and then I can also just touch the screen to control things as well. So you can see I've got massaging seats. You can choose all these different massages. You can adjust the ambient lighting, which is pretty cool. I've got it set at green right now, so let's make sure the brightness is dialed all the way up. It is, and then we'll go to color, and you can just adjust it via this wheel right here. So can't see it too well in the daylight. You can see it runs there along the doors. It's also inside of the cup holders along these things here, and it even goes into the back as well. Something cool I noticed about this ambient lighting, let's put it on white, and then when you adjust the HVAC temperature up and down, the light changes accordingly. So we'll go up, you can see it turned red, and it goes back to white. Turn the temperature down, it turns blue, and then fades back to white. And since this is a dual zone system, if you adjust this side, the light only turns red from this side over. When you adjust, there you go, it turns blue from about here over. When you adjust this side, it's blue from about here over. So that was a little thing I noticed. I've had plenty of Mercedes AMG loaners this year, and that's actually the first time I noticed that feature. It's really neat. Love these steering wheels. This is a special AMG wheel, so it's suede here and then carbon fiber here and here, and then it's got these nice aluminum look finishes here on the paddle shifters. And then these are really cool. This is controls for the different drive modes. So here you can cycle through what you want to adjust via this button right here. So right now that's for the suspension, so I can raise the vehicle up high, and then here this one's on exhaust, so that's the quiet mode. Still sounds pretty loud. And then we'll do what Mercedes calls powerful mode. A little bit louder. Over here you can cycle through different drive modes. This thing has plenty of them. So its default is comfort. You've also got sport, sport plus, and in this AMG 63S model, you've also got race mode. And then there's some more utility oriented modes as well. You've got slippery and trail, and also a sand mode. Individual mode is pretty neat. You can adjust all these different things for individual modes. So you've got engine, transmission, shift points, driving dynamics, suspension, and exhaust. And then when you just press this thing, you go into individual modes. So that's kind of neat. Gives you the opportunity to configure all these different settings. Everything feels really nice, super high end. Everything's wrapped in leather. Fit and finish is great. You've got wireless charging pad here. This feature is pretty neat. This is a heated and chilled cup holder. So you push this button, turns on the chilling feature, and then you press it again, and it goes over to the heated feature. Redundant controls for some of the performance settings right here. This is just sits in place. It's just kind of a wrist rest for the touch pad right here. And then along here, you've got surround view camera, a favorites button, and then some radio and navigation adjustments. This adjusts your drive mode as well. So these buttons are replicated over here. This button is replicated right here. And then the functionality of this touchpad is duplicated via the fact that this is a touchscreen control system. So it's really nice to have redundant controls all throughout the cabin of this vehicle. Obviously, Mercedes-Benz has really impressive engines, super high-end designs, but their ergonomics and their interior layouts are just really, really good as well. I think that's probably one of the most underrated selling points of these modern Mercedes vehicles. They just crush it from a usability standpoint. Before we hop in the back, I'll note that this thing has a really big panoramic sunroof, lets a lot of light in when it's open. And I think that about covers the front seat. Let's hop in back. Wow, there's actually a lot of space back here. With the seat in the position I would have it in to drive, wow, this thing is really big. I didn't realize that. So plenty of legroom back here. There is a hump, That's kind of big. You've got individual HVAC controls back here with some vents. And then down here you've got a USB-C port and a 115 volt 2-prong power inverter. Center armrest just includes 2 cup holders, pretty basic. Another cool thing though is that these windows come with power shades. So to put them up and down, you do it via the window controls, but you press it the first time and it puts the shade down. Press it a second time and then the window goes down. It's a pretty small window actually. I'm realizing this quarter window is huge, and then the actual window itself is pretty well far in front of where you sit. It's a little thing that you only notice once you're back here. Anyway though, I think that's about all there is to see back here. It's actually really nice. I don't get to ride in the back seat of these cars that I drive, so I kind of feel like I missed out on this one. Let's... All right, now for the fun part. These Mercedes AMG models are fantastic. I've driven about 5 this year. I've been lucky to get a lot of Mercedes loans, and yeah, every time I drive one, they're exceptional. They're excellent. Like I said, 0 to 60 in 3.5. In a moment here, we will experience 0 to 50. I mean, we all know what comfort mode is like. Let's go Sport Plus. Keep in mind, there's one mode above Sport Plus. Jeez, okay. That was 58. There is a momentary pause while the turbo spools up. And right there at about 20 miles per hour, the turbo kicked on. And then it feels ruckusly fast. Okay, we are first car in line at a red light, so when it turns green, we'll get to punch it again. And I do have half a tank of gas this time. Last time I reviewed a Mercedes AMG, I started with about 20 miles of range, and I burned through that in about 10 miles. So I think the risks of running out of gas in this case are pretty low. So yeah, definitely quick. So the other AMG 63 model I reviewed this year was the GLS. That's like the full-size SUV counterpart to the S-Class. It's a 3-row, it's bigger than this. And that vehicle was considerably heavier than this one. It had a 3rd row, it's just bigger. Beyond that though, the 2 cars are pretty similar. I mean, all the features were pretty much the same. I mean, Mercedes uses the same design language across most of their vehicles these days. And then just like features and options are pretty similar across the lineup as well. So you sit down behind the wheel of any of these and they feel pretty similar. But what I was getting at is that the GLS is bigger than this, made about 10 more horsepower. Not that you can really tell when you get beyond, 500, 600. That vehicle felt, 2 descriptions I used, violently fast and freight train fast. This one still feels extremely fast. There just isn't that mass variable involved like there is with the GLS. So, just got around the truck there. Yeah, it'll go. So, like I said, we're in Sport S mode right now, and I went straight to Sport S because there's still a race mode. I just put it in race mode. See what's up there. So, whenever you go into these sport modes, the suspension lowers, the exhaust turns to powerful, engine goes to race, AMG dynamics turn to pro, and then the suspension damping turns to Sport Plus or Sport. There's a little bit of a crackle from the exhaust when you let off. Sounds pretty cool. There's this one tone that the exhaust makes that just sounds insane. It sounds super mechanical and heavy. Maybe forceful is the right word. It sounds different. You can tell this isn't your average, turbocharged 6-cylinder here. Yeah, it's on the shifts. It makes just this really heavy clunking sound that, you know, normally a clunking sound when you're driving a car isn't a good thing, but in this case, it's assertive and loud and just sounds so different from anything else. It's really cool. It's quite satisfying. So we are pulling onto I-80 right now. We're gonna shoot up Parley's Canyon, past the place where I ran out of gas in the GLS 63. So, like I said, I think we're good. We're good this time around. Beyond performance though, it's just super comfortable. I've got heated armrests. The seats are massaging. Infotainment system is great. Alcantara steering wheel. It's got some really nice thumb slots. It's flat bottom. Plenty of active safety features, but those are pretty much standard on every vehicle these days. Then we're in race mode. Let's just go down to comfort mode. When it's in comfort mode, it is relatively tame. I've got some cars in front of me here, but so the power's there when you want it, but the exhaust isn't as loud, the suspension isn't as stiff. It doesn't exactly snap your neck back when you hit the gas. It's still fast, but not as crazy fast as it is in Sport or Sport Plus or race mode. Let's go Sport. Yeah. So a little bit more responsive in Sport. Sport Plus. A little more responsive yet. So there are multiple levels to all the different powertrain components with regard to these performance modes. So when you're in comfort, you've got moderate for the engine, basic for the AMG dynamics, comfort for the suspension, and then balanced for the exhaust. There's only 2 settings to the exhaust. Go into sport, engine changes to sport, AMG dynamics change to advanced, and then the suspension changes to sport. Sport Plus, you've got dynamic from the engine, Pro for the AMG dynamics, Sport Plus for the suspension, and powerful for the exhaust. And then in race mode, the only thing that changes is that the engine goes into race mode and everything else stays the same as it is in Sport Plus. So if you're interested. Yeah, you get a little bit of a whooshing sound when you hit the gas. And I know it's a turbo and there's some forced induction going on there, but it's just more of a all-around rushing noise that you get when you hammer it in one of these 63 models. So I think I mentioned I reviewed an AMG GLE 53 Coupe earlier this year. So the differences there are it's got the gradually sloped rear roof line because it's a coupe SUV, and then it's an AMG 53 model, meaning that it uses a turbocharged inline 6. 53 models make 429 horsepower, and you still get most everything you get in the 63 here. Like, you still get these performance controls on the steering wheel, and then you get a more aggressive body kit, bigger wheels. I found that the GLE 53 was plenty fast, if anyone's wondering. By no means is that a mundane vehicle. It's just that once you get into this 63 territory, you get the hand-built twin-turbo V8, and then you jump, in this case, what is that, 173 horsepower? That's a significant jump in power. So from a 53, yeah, pretty fast, to a 63, ruckusly fast, super aggressive, top tier performance all around. Okay, we're approaching Parley's Summit. This is right about where I ran out of gas last time. We're in good shape, still have about half a tank. Even the downshifts in race mode are really aggressive as you decelerate and come to a stop. Okay, well, I think that about wraps up our Mercedes AMG GLE 63S review. This is a super premium, super high performance, $133,000 mid-size SUV. Makes 603 horsepower, 627 pounds-feet of torque. It's got like 8 different drive modes, loads of carbon fiber throughout the interior, an Alcantara wrapped steering wheel, and it also has heated door panels, heated armrests, heated and chilled cup holders. What more can I say? It's got pretty much everything you could ask for in a vehicle. And then you factor in, well, an AMG 63S trim level, and you get all the performance benefits, hand-built twin-turbo V8, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. All around, another extremely impressive Mercedes AMG product, and I can't imagine anybody would be disappointed by this vehicle. So I think that about wraps up the AMG GLE 63S. Thank you for watching.